There's nothing better than getting in your car and taking a drive to see the beautiful landscape that Arizona has to offer.
But if you are lost on where to go, let Arizona Highways Magazine be your guide. Joining us today to talk about the August issue is Robert Steve. Robert, how are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And Robert, tell us about the cover of this magazine. That's just a gorgeous shot.
Oh yeah, the location is up in the Coconino National Forest up by Flagstaff. The impetus for this story, we do a scenic drive every month in the magazine, but I was actually out driving with my brother last spring, and we looked out the front windshield and there was nothing but this gorgeous view, and he said, you ought to do a story like this. So what we typically do in the magazine, you show scenery from out the side windows or things around, but this one really focuses literally on what you see out the front window. And for us, as you know, you're familiar with the magazine, our landscape photographers don't like roads or people or buildings in their shots, so we had to work a little harder to get the images in this issue, but literally this is what you'll see when you hit the road.
I love this idea because I am a big fan of drives.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about just like sitting in your car and just going somewhere, even though you don't really know where you're going, but then what you end up seeing along the way.
Yeah, and again, a lot of times in the magazine, you'll see this great rock formation, and then you're driving, and it's like, where is that? I don't see it. So we made it easy. Of course, you can turn the air conditioner on and enjoy the ride.
And some of these pictures, some of these places we go are so amazing. And Robert, some of these are right in our backyard.
Yeah, there are.
Tucson.
Well, certainly Tucson, as you know, and we do have a shot of the Catalina Highway in there. But you know, this time of year we tend to look toward Flagstaff or the White Mountains, and but of course here's your famous drive right here, which we all love and have done many times. You were just saying off camera that you were just up there this weekend, and very popular. Tucson's very fortunate to have such a spectacular drive. But for the rest of our readers who aren't from here, you know, they're not as familiar with it, so we get to show them a little bit about what they'll see.
But it's just amazing how when you're even just driving to Mount Lemmon, where it's like hardcore desert, and then you just start climbing, and the vegetation is just vastly different.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
It's the equivalent of driving from Mexico to Canada, really, in a short drive in terms of the different ecosystems that you see along the way. And of course, this time of year, you're happy to get up to the pines up at the top.
Yeah.
And Robert, that's one of the things that's great about this magazine and that's great about the state of Arizona is you can get a wide variety of scenery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the vegetation changes so much. We love our desert, and not so much this time of year, but you know, then you see things like this up in the White Mountains. This is up kind of near Springerville and Greer. It's a road that goes up to something called Big Lake and a series of lakes up in the White Mountains. And as you can see, I mean, the roads in this issue, some of them are dirt. Most of them can be done, you know, with a sedan. There's a few that might need high clearance. This is Indian Road 60 up on the Navajo Reservation.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that spectacular?
Goosebumps.
And the weather is cooler up there too. I mean, it's not like being in the White Mountains or in Flagstaff, but the temperature, because it's a much higher elevation up there, the climate's not as brutal as it is down here.
This is shocking. Look at, I mean,
Look at
that looks like we're in the Midwest.
This is the same state we're in right now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, this is the Kaibab Plateau, the road that goes to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We've showed you lots of images of the south rim. The north rim is a little harder to get to from Tucson. It's about an 8-hour drive. But that's the road that goes through there, and you'll see a lot of deer. There are bison along the road that you'll see. Yeah.
When you think of the Grand Canyon, you think of these spectacular oranges and reds.
Right.
It's hard to imagine that this road takes you to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it's a rare and beautiful spot in Arizona that not a lot of people get to because it is more remote. And but of course you can see the payoff there. And this time of year, like here in Tucson, you've got the monsoons rolling in regularly, so it brings some pretty spectacular cloud formation and a lot of rain as well up there.
Imagine the beautiful landscapes that Robert has seen.
I know, I'm just thinking about that. I was just thinking about that.
Because I just remember even when I came to Tucson and we were traveling, it's like, oh, I wish I could capture this moment right now and share it. And you do this for a living.
Well, yeah, just to be clear, I don't take all these.
I know you don't, but I'm saying, but you get to experience all this stuff.
Oh, right, and you know, we go out and retrace the steps and we write the stories. So, yeah, I mean, Arizona, you mentioned earlier, there's so much diversity in terms of landscape and ecology and biology and everything else, and so we're in a beautiful place.
And it's amazing it can all survive.
Yeah, and unfortunately some of it doesn't. You know, the fires come and sort of compromise some of the places. But you know, we encourage everyone to be smart when they're out there and you know, pay attention to the weather conditions, and if you're building campfires, be smart about it so we can have these things for our kids
Right.
to look at someday.
That's a good point. You have to these are beautiful objects and images, and we have to respect those. Otherwise, we don't get to enjoy them as much.
Yeah, some of it's natural, but some of it could be avoided. So, but it's a beautiful place, and encourage all your viewers to get in the car this weekend and hit the road.
Oh, it makes me want to.
I know,
My
doesn't
goodness.
it?
We'll
And
leave
it's gonna
this
be
here
so
for you.
Perfect. It's going to be so hot.
I know.
That's perfect.
Take me up north, please.
Robert, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining
You
us.
bet.
And you can learn more about Arizona Highways Magazine by calling 800-543-5432 or by going online to arizonahighways.com.
Coming up on the Morning Blend, we'll tell you how you can make sure your kiddos are safe while walking to school.
Plus, we'll head to the kitchen to whip up a lemon oregano vinaigrette. That's right after this.